Jensen. Is that you? You've lost a lot of hair.
I never asked for this.
Whoa, you look like an idiot. Later!
Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out!
Deus Ex Human Revolution is one of my favorite video games of all time. Before Mankind Divided came out, I played it again for like the 10th time so that I would have something to like compare them. To compare Mankind Divided to Human Revolution and see how good it really is. With that being said, how is Mankind Divided? The best way to put it is both the best in the series and the worst in the series at the same time. Before I go into why that is, let me just show you what the game is about really quickly. Here you go. Deus Ex Mankind Divided takes place in 2029, 2 years after the events of Human Revolution. Augmented humans are now deemed as outcasts, with little to no rights after what happened in the final hours of the game. You return yet again as Adam Jensen, who now works for Interpol in the city of Prague, investigating the leads of a terrorist attack and the discovery of a new bioweapon that's in the hands of the enemy. Overall, it's a pretty good story, with one particular decision that changes some things. While it's not a bad story by any standard, really, compared to all the other Deus Ex games, it falls flat. Deus Ex is known for really, really great storylines with a lot of huge plot twists here and there that keep you going to the end. The story in this game is just kind of boring. You know, it's kind of like a decent Call of Duty story. You know, there were never really any big plot twists here and there. It was just kind of a straightforward story, really. There was only one moment really that had me emotional, and that was just near the very beginning. Here's that scene.
Right now you need to concentrate on Miller and find a way to access the innocence of the...
Alex, you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Do you hear that? We're gonna check it out.
Okay, be careful. We'll talk.
that being said, the story felt kind of like a bridge between Human Revolution and another sequel after this. I have a feeling that they're going to make another Deus Ex game because of how the ending was in this game. It didn't feel, the ending of this game didn't feel like you won. It just, it was kind of like, it felt like an interlude. Maybe this was deliberate. Maybe they didn't mean the story to be that much. And, it was also kind of short. Human Revolution's story was like twice as long. I think, anyway. I'm positive. Maybe not twice as long, but probably like 1.6 times longer than this story. So yeah. So that was the story. Definitely the weak point of this game. Coming up next is the strong point, and that is the gameplay. Gameplay-wise, I believe that this is the best Deus Ex game yet. They basically took Human Revolution's formula and improved upon it in nearly every single way. You can now take down enemies from behind cover, and the combat... Now the combat was probably the biggest complaint I heard about the last game. It's better in this game, but it's still not all that great. Stealth is still advised and is the right way to play. You can also craft various helpful items such as the auto hack tool, which I went absolutely crazy for, and they also fixed the persuasion system, taking away those randomized responses even when you select the correct dialogue choices. Thank God for that. Now, there is something really interesting in this game called experimental augmentations. These are upgrades new to Jensen that weren't in Human Revolution, but in order to equip one, you need to compensate by disabling one of your factory default augs so that your systems don't overload. Later on, there is a missable side quest where you can fix it and equip whatever you want without worrying about overloading. And yeah, they fixed the forced boss fights that were in Human Revolution. Only problem is, there were 4 bosses in that game, and there's only 1 boss in this game. Now, there are quite a few things, minor problems I have with the gameplay. The first off is not really gameplay, but more of the graphics. Overall, the graphics are good. The environments are great. The city Prague itself is very beautiful, very detailed. The fact that you can enter almost any building is remarkable. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the faces of most people. They tend to lack what's the word for it? They tend to lack detail and texture. A problem that Human Revolution actually had as well, despite Adam Jensen's face looking really good and detailed as well, because obviously he's the main character and you see his face the most, and therefore the graphics on him look much better. A lot of games do that too. I understand that. Speaking of which, there's something about Jensen's look in this game that I don't know if I like or hate. He looks kind of weird in this game. I don't know if it's a new graphics engine or what, but he tends to make like really funny facial expressions and like mannerisms.
You don't need to worry about me, Adam. I'll be fine. I'll just hunker down in my office until the storm passes. Besides, I hear I have a very comfortable couch.
Just take care of yourself.
I always do.
Just take care of yourself.
Just take care of yourself.
Did you know that Miller might be a part of the Illuminati?
And as most games on launch, once in a while you'll come across some weird wacky glitch that like physics issues here and there that are more funny than they are problematic.
Should I be calling every police station in town looking for you?
That's not necessary. I'll be in soon.
Good, because we've got work to do.
Oh god, what's happening to me? I can't control anything. My arm. What's wrong with my arm? Oh god, I can't hold it. I can't control anything. Please, someone help me. Oh god, help. Please, help me. Cut this goddamn arm off. I can't do it anymore. I doing this. Oh, my balls. Oh, I can't control it. I can't control it.
And of course, the 45-second long load screen. Everyone grab your popcorn, because we're gonna watch the whole thing! You guys still awake? Oh man, I have to go through that shit like every fucking, 20 minutes of that game. Last but not least on my complaints are the side missions. They're all really great. The problem is they seem to be very hidden, too hidden, and like there are around 12 side missions in the whole game. In my first playthrough, I only found around like 4 of them. That's only because 4 of those side missions are given to you while you're working on the story. The other 8 you have to find on your own, and they're very hard to find. I shouldn't be expected to explore the entire city to find these side stories. A lot of them are actually better than the main story. I'm not joking. So yeah, those are my complaints on the gameplay. Up next is the online mode. Yep, and lastly there is the online mode called Breach, which isn't really online per se, but you do need to be online to play it. But you do not need PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold to access it. I haven't played too much of it so far, but it seems to be a virtual reality mode where you go into different files, which are like levels of various kinds, and complete them to gain rewards, level up, and buy virtual AUGs and proceed to the next ones. Objectives include capturing data, collecting data fragments, eliminating enemies, and there are even challenging bosses in it too. Some of these levels have modifiers as well as requirements to beat it, such as having to complete an entire level in stealth. And then there are microtransactions! Yay! Really? God, it seems like every game now has microtransactions. Even the best of the best ones. First Uncharted 4 has them. Now Deus Ex. Oh my goodness. Even the single player has microtransactions. Yeah. And I went through the entire game 3 times without ever pondering if I ever need them or not, I always find these things on my own. I don't need to buy them. Oh my god, every game now. Every game. God damn it. To wrap things up, my final score for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and I think this is a very fair score, and I will not go any higher, a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. It's amazing. Game, like in terms of enjoyment and immersion, it's a fantastic game. But it's not the kind of 9 out of 10 where you go, wow, that was awesome. That was better than I thought it would be. 9 out of 10. It was more like, that was awesome. But it could have been better. It could have. We all agree that it could have easily been a 10, if not for the weak story and microtransactions. Kind of like Like The Dark Knight Rises, 9 out of 10. It was awesome. It was an awesome movie, but it could have been better, especially in the story department. So, yeah, that's Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's not as good as Human Revolution. Not in my opinion anyway. And maybe that's just bias because it's like among my favorite games of all time, and I hold it in very, very high regard in terms of like storytelling and music and stuff like that. But I still recommend this to anyone who loves the series in general, or to anyone who liked Human Revolution, or even anyone who likes the cyberpunk theme in general. With all that being said, I this might be my favorite game of the year, because even though it's far from perfect, it is the only game this year so far that I've wanted to play through more than once, and I have. Even though the story remains the same, I always find new ways and new paths to explore and sneak by enemies, and there's so much there's so much to find in the game. Not just this Deus Ex, but pretty much all of them. They have so much exploration and depth in the gameplay and environments. And I never get tired of these games. In terms of stealth and like thinking, these definitely have like my fill of wanting that in a game. If I want to feel that again, I'll just go back to a Deus Ex game. And this one definitely succeeds when it comes to that. When it comes to immersing yourself in the game. Uncharted was amazing. The story was great. The graphics are the best I've ever seen. But, when I finished Uncharted 4, I just didn't feel like going back to it. It was amazing, spectacular, one of the best games ever. Yes, but it's just not a game that I really want to go back to. It's not a game I look forward to go back to because I know that I'm going to play it the same way as I did before. Same thing with Doom. Doom was a brilliant first-person shooter. It was fun as all hell, and it was absolutely badass, but I don't know if I'd play it a different way or find new ways to play it different ways because you use like every weapon in your arsenal in that game. So yeah, Mankind Divided, probably my game of the year, even though I didn't give it as high of a technical score as Uncharted 4. It wasn't as impressive as Uncharted 4, but I thought it was more fun and immersive in general. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's my Deus Ex Mankind Divided review. Thank you very much for watching.
The Gamer Gods!
Dude, wait, hold on. Ow.